Power is a ruthless game. It has been played since the dawn of civilization, in the grand halls of ancient palaces and the shadowy corners of medieval courts. From the emperors of China to the kings of Europe, the quest for power has shaped the course of history. It does not care for morality, for the lines between right and wrong blur in the face of ambition. In the heat of battle and the whispers of court intrigue, the pursuit of power often leads to betrayal and bloodshed. Kindness or justice are mere casualties in this relentless pursuit. The scales of justice tip not in favor of the righteous, but in favor of the strong. Punishments are meted out not for the sake of fairness, but to maintain control and instill fear. It does not reward the noble, those who strive for the greater good. The annals of history are filled with the stories of noble figures who were cast aside, their virtues unrecognized, their sacrifices forgotten. Nor does it punish the wicked. Tyrants and villains often rise to the top, their ruthless tactics and unyielding ambition propelling them to power. They rewrite the rules to suit their needs, bending the world to their will. Power obeys only one rule: dominance. It is a game of survival, where only the strongest and most cunning prevail. Military leaders and rulers have long understood this, rallying their troops with promises of glory and conquest. And history is written by those who dare to seize it. The victors pen the narratives, their deeds immortalized in scrolls and manuscripts. They shape the legacy of their times, leaving an indelible mark on the world. If you are here expecting a lesson in ethics, you have come to the wrong place. This is not about what is right or wrong, this is about what is necessary. One of the greatest figures in history who understood this law was Wu Zetian, the only female emperor of China. Her rise to power was not a matter of fate. It was a matter of relentless ambition, careful manipulation, and absolute ruthlessness. Born in 625 AD, Wu Zetian entered the imperial court as a concubine of Emperor Taizong. But she knew that concubines were disposable, mere ornaments in the emperor's collection. She had to do something different. She had to think ahead. When Taizong died, court traditions dictated that all concubines be sent to a Buddhist convent. This was a common practice in ancient China, aimed at ensuring that the concubines would not interfere in political matters or form alliances that could threaten the new emperor's rule. The convents were often serene and isolated, providing a stark contrast to the bustling life of the imperial court. These women, who once lived in luxury and power, were now expected to lead a life of contemplation and religious devotion. Their power stripped away, they were left to reflect on their past lives and the whims of fate that had brought them to this point. However, one woman among them refused to accept her fate. Wu Zetian, a concubine of Taizong, was not content to spend the rest of her life in obscurity. She was determined to reclaim her position and influence. Wu Zetian had already set her eyes on the next emperor, Taizong's son, Gaozong. She saw an opportunity to rise once again to power. Gaozong, unlike his father, was known to be more impressionable and less assertive. Wu Zetian believed that she could use her intelligence, charm, and strategic acumen to win his favor and secure a place for herself in the new regime. Using her charm, intelligence, and strategic planning, she returned to the palace and entered his inner circle. Wu Zetian's return to the palace was not just a matter of personal ambition, it was a calculated move that involved careful planning and manipulation. She managed to gain the trust of Gaozong and gradually became one of his most trusted advisors. Her influence grew steadily, and she began to play a significant role in the administration of the empire. Wu Zetian's journey from a secluded convent to the heart of the imperial court is a testament to her resilience and determination. She would eventually go on to become one of the most powerful and influential women in Chinese history, leaving an indelible mark on the empire. But ambition without action is merely a dream. Wu Zetian knew that to rise, she had to remove every obstacle in her path. She befriended Empress Wang, Gaozong's wife, earning her trust. But trust is a fragile illusion in the game of power. Then, she executed her most ruthless move. Wu Zetian, a woman of unparalleled ambition and cunning, was not one to be underestimated. Her rise to power was marked by a series of calculated and often brutal decisions. This particular move, however, would cement her reputation in the annals of history as one of the most formidable figures of the Tang dynasty. In 654 AD, Wu gave birth to a daughter. The birth of a child, especially a daughter in the royal court, was a momentous occasion. It was a time filled with joy, hope, and the promise of a bright future. Wu, who had already borne sons, saw this as another opportunity to strengthen her position within the court. The newborn was a symbol of her growing influence and power. Shortly after, the infant was found dead. The sudden and tragic death of the baby sent shockwaves through the palace. Whispers and rumors began to circulate, each more sinister than the last. The court was rife with speculation, and the atmosphere grew tense. The loss of an infant in the royal family was not just a personal tragedy, but a political event with far-reaching consequences. The blame fell upon Empress Wang, who was known for her jealousy. The court was outraged. Empress Wang, already on shaky ground due to her inability to produce a male heir, found herself at the center of a maelstrom. Accusations flew, and her rivals seized the opportunity to undermine her. The court, always a hotbed of intrigue and power struggles, was now a cauldron of anger and suspicion. Empress Wang's reputation, already tarnished, was now in tatters. Gaozong, enraged, stripped the empress of her title and sentenced her to death. Emperor Gaozong, who had always been under Wu Zetian's influence, saw this as the perfect opportunity to eliminate a rival. His decision was swift and merciless. The court watched in stunned silence as Empress Wang was led away, her fate sealed. This act of retribution was not just a personal vendetta, but a clear message to all. Wu Zetian was a force to be reckoned with, and any opposition would be crushed without mercy. The death of the infant, whether by design or accident, had paved the way for Wu Zetian's unchallenged ascent to power. With Wang gone, Wu Zetian became the new empress, but she was far from done. To secure her hold over the empire, she systematically eliminated her rivals, poisoning her enemies, exiling threats, and even executing members of her own family. This is the true nature of power. It does not allow half measures. History teaches us that the greatest rulers, generals, and strategists understood one thing: you do not merely defeat an enemy, you erase them. To leave an enemy wounded, to let them retain even a fragment of their influence, is to invite retribution. Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, and even corporate tycoons like John D. Rockefeller and Steve Jobs all played by this rule. They understood that rivals left standing would only return with vengeance. You must not only win, you must ensure that your enemies can never challenge you again. Power is neither good nor evil, it is an instrument. Some wield it for conquest, others for survival. But one truth remains: the weak perish, the strong thrive. In the pursuit of power, morality is a luxury. If you want to dominate, you must be willing to go beyond the limits of ethics and embrace the harsh reality. Mercy is weakness, sentiment is a liability, and hesitation is fatal. So ask yourself, do you have the hunger for power, the willingness to lower yourself to pick it up? Because power is not given, it is taken. This is not a story of virtue, this is a story of victory.